You've got people in various different decades of their life, various different seasons, various different niche types, various different geographical areas in this country and others. As diverse a group as you guys are, turns out you all have one thing in common. Every one of you has a marketing problem. All of you. And until you fix it, until you get a plan in place to start fixing it, the business is not going to move forward. Sadly, your business has a lot of benefits and a lot of downsides. The benefits I can get into ad nauseum. The downsides are that there's no easy way to sell your product unless you pound the pavement and grind and do the marketing yourself. I don't believe the other existing business models that are out there that exist are any way to build a profitable business as an artist, especially as it pertains to, attempting to sell through galleries and taking a 50-50 haircut, whether they're online or not, and going through that whole thing. So yeah, I like to rant about that. A secondary rant is there is still time between now and Christmas for you to get a sail in the water. For those that are capable, please do that. Please do that. The reason I want you to do that is because this is still this period from now until like the drop dead date when you can no longer get a piece to somebody in before Christmas is part of Q4. Q4 are the last 3 months of the year. The last 3 months of the year traditionally are the biggest art selling times of the year, quite significantly so. So there is still time to get a sale in the water. I realize a lot of you are like, what the heck are you talking about, sale in the water? I don't have anything to sell. I don't have a list. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have Facebook fans. I get that. So we can talk about that. We can get into that as well. But at this point, we will open it up to the Q&A. If you are one of the brave ones, thank you, Diane, Maria, Rachel, Perry, and Alara. And you guys have a question? You can do the old school hand raise, okay? Because you've got your camera on and I'll see it. For everyone else, though, at the bottom of your little Zoom window is this like little smiley face with a plus sign on it. And if you click that smiley face with the plus sign on it, there is a way where you can digitally raise your hand, okay? And that lets me know that you have a question, and then I can unmute you, and we can get into it. Okay. I know there was one first. Aaron, you left a long one in the chat. I'm going to unmute you first, and then we can go from there. So Aaron's question. Well, you might as well ask it so everybody could hear it, Aaron.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, great. Sorry. I've always been interested in selling my art, but only within a setting that I am comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not a bougie high-end art. Like, let me discuss how this fits in the whole canon of art,
Mm-hmm.
and pander to really that kind of intellectual
Mm-hmm.
view.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to present art that shows the beauty of the natural world because I focus on flowers and plants mostly,
Okay.
as a photographer. And I have a friend who's hyper good with patterns and architecture in mostly New York City.
Okay.
Another friend who's lived upstate New York and is on Long Island, and he's a fabulous landscape artist. And a lot of people, or rather, some companies have approached him on Instagram to use his landscapes. And so I know, just having a good eye and having been told that my whole life, that these guys have great work.
Okay.
And people have told me my whole life my work is beautiful, and I want to put it on walls. I want to put all of our stuff on walls. So I've conscripted these two gentlemen to give me their entire collection,
Okay.
which can be about 200, 300 pieces for each of us.
Okay.
And I want to put it on a great website.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to honestly really build my own because I hate the whole idea of having to slog through that. And I'm not a
Yes.
programmer,
No.
and I'm honestly a bit dyslexic and stuff. So if I can get started with you guys sometime next year and do a turnkey thing, I really want to hit the ground running. But my concern is, in order to do it effectively, I know we're starting a combined brand, like three artists, one goal.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know if I want to do it another way because we cover all these different bases with our photographs that I think could really be good for not just individuals, but my view would be beautifully, like if we can get into doctors' offices and institutions, because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some stuff recently when I was in the hospital from a near amputation of my foot due to an accident. People took pictures of like fence posts, but it looks like the idea is there, but the artistic thing is like -10. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why is that fence post there, So I really want to know, can you guys help a group of people who are really looking to start things effectively, who wants to do all the things
Yeah.
next year?
Yeah. Um, the short answer is yes. Okay. The longer answer is the one that I want you to that I think you need to think through. Okay. But yes, obviously you can all go together. You can all put it all into a gallery. You can all start marketing, collectively share the marketing and everything else. The problem that I've found is that you three team up, right? And that is essentially a marriage. And I don't know if you're married. I am. Marriages take a lot of work. They're extremely
The other
difficult.
two are. That's why I'm the
And
business guy.
that's with one person.
Yeah,
Now
yeah, yeah,
you're getting
yeah.
into one with two, okay? And
Sure.
notwithstanding the Mormons that somehow make it happen, I shouldn't say that, but I don't. It can be difficult, okay? Because here's what ends up happening: you start doing all the marketing, and you're working really, really hard at that, and they end up water skiing behind your marketing, and they're getting sales. Okay, well, are you being compensated on those sales? Like, who's doing the marketing at the end of the day,
On
right?
mine, it's going to be 100. On theirs, it's going to be 20/80.
Okay, so you've already decided to split.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's the only thing that you need to think through, really, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to start grinding on the marketing. The brand is going to grow. There's going to be the corresponding social accounts. You're going to start getting orders. You're going to start having a customer database and all of these various different things. And if anything goes sideways for any reason, and I'm not suggesting that it would, but these are just the things you want to think through up front, then you want to make sure that you're in a place where everyone understands, like, appreciate it, guys, but really this is my business, because you're essentially building an asset the entire time, right? That will continue to work even if one of those other gentlemen decides to drop out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Well, that's the hard
That is the
number is
hard
that
thing
they're
about hard
happy
things. That is the hard
devoting
thing
that.
about hard things. Yes. The other thing I would say too is, I love that people tell you have a great eye. I love that people tell you you're talented. I love that people are contacting, your other buddy from Instagram. But if I picked up you, drove up outstate, picked up your other buddy, and I drove you to the ATM machine, and I asked you to show me the buttons on the ATM machine that said I have a great eye, or everybody loves my work, or people
Sure,
want to
sure.
use the watercolors, it's all nonsense hyperbole, okay, until we go for the sale. So the next time somebody
Uh-huh.
says, and I mean between now and when you sign up, says, you have a fantastic eye, I really like your work, I want you to simply repeat, wonderful, it's for sale, which one do you want to buy? Okay,
Okay.
then shut up and see what they say. And then the minute that they tell you, I really like this one, wonderful, quote them a price, and then see what they say. And if they say,
Mm-hmm.
I really like it, but it's too expensive, say, no problem, make me an offer. And then shut up
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. And you take cash, you take credit card, you take PayPal, you can hand deliver, whatever it is, but always go for the sale. Otherwise, you never know whether or not those people are just flattering you or not, right? Which
Sure, sure.
I'm not saying they are, but that's a lesson that all artists and photographers. I mean, the sheer amount of times that I get, my work is great. I was in a juried show. I won an award. I go right into my little ATM spiel because it's important. But otherwise, yes, we can totally help you out. There's some things to think through, like, do these guys have social media accounts? Are they doing any marketing at all? Are you going to do one for the brand? Are you going to do them individually? So there's some
Sure.
decisions, but we can certainly guide you through all of those.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, next up is Laura Alcantara. I love that last name. There's a guy that plays for Liverpool, Spanish guy, Tiago Alcantara, who's also really good. You need to unmute.
Okay,
Laura.
can you hear me now?
Yep, I gotcha.
Okay, I have to be a little quiet, which is really hard for me because I have like huge energy because somebody's on a call in another meeting right next
Totally
to
understand.
me. I'm in the bathroom. All right, so I have two important questions.
Okay.
So I guess I would be one of those artists that I'm like, yeah, I've done really well, like press, whatever, shows here and there. But when I go to the ATM, that's the big problem.
Yes.
But I do worry about, like, for example, editions. Like my work goes through editions of 5.
Okay.
Is there a way to control that?
Oh yeah, easy.
Second point, real quick, is printing. Like I print, I go, I sign, and they send it in a tube. So how does that work? Like I have my printer here in New York. Oh, by the way, if anyone's in New York, hook me up through Instagram. We get together, we meet, we collaborate. So those two are things that I worry about. And the other thing is everybody that I've told about this meeting says, oh, it's bullshit. Everybody, like that kind of pages are just going to, like, you're going to pay them money. Nothing's going to happen. You won't sell anything, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to, like, beat the odds in thinking that that is right. And, like, go and try to figure out what you guys offer. Obviously, pricing is a question that everybody has, like how much do we pay, how does it work, et cetera, because it's really easy to get into the idea of like, oh, this is awesome, but how much do we have to invest into this?
Yes.
Which is fine, because investing in yourself means that you grow, which I understand.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I guess like changing the mindset with you guys would be kind of, there's two types of artists. There's the artists that they teach us to be in school, which is like, oh, you know, you go to the gallery and you like have a museum and blah blah blah, and like bullshit. Because when we get out into the real world, nobody knows what the hell to do.
Oh,
we don't know how to sell. We don't know how to
true.
get ourselves into, you know. I have a huge following on Instagram, and I must say that it's grown a lot, and I sell a lot of stuff through there. I sell my books, I sell my masterclass, I sell art, but I still haven't gotten to that place where I really want to just like make a living off what I do. I'm a photographer though.
Okay.
So in the case of those videos, live videos, how do you sell your photography through a live video? I don't mind videos. I'm really good in front of the camera. I can do it. I'm just wondering, like, we're not talking about painting. We're talking about photography. So that's just me putting a ton of shit out there for you to answer.
Yeah. There was a ton of stuff. Are you Spanish originally, by the way?
I'm Venezuelan, yeah.
No, you're Venezuelan? No way.
Yes,
no way. Second.
I am. I've been in New York for 20 years, but I'm Venezuelan.
Second one in 2 weeks. Juan, who's on this call, is also Venezuelan.
Juan.
Say hi, Juan.
Juanmi, hola,
Juan.
¿Cómo estás?
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bueno, I'm in New York.
También.
So, bueno, hit me up. Ay, hola, un placer, ¿qué tal?
And he's actually in Venezuela, so there we go. There's
wow.
there's our
There
Venezuelan bona fides solved.
There you
okay,
go.
so there was a ton of questions in there.
Yes.
The limited edition is no problem, right? Like you if you want to use your printer, you can use your printer. If you don't want to use your printer, you don't have to use our printer. You can use ours, right? And
cool.
What happens is when you're doing signed limited editions, you get the product shipped to you. You take it out of the beautiful packaging, sign it, put it back in. But I also think you should sell some that are not signed and then charge more for the ones that are signed. That's just a good business technique, period.
Good.
That was the printing question. There was a question before that. What was the one before that?
Basically, the question of editing and the question of like, wait, see, there was a ton of stuff and I didn't write it down. Yeah. That's me. I got a little ADD dyslexic.
It's okay. It's all, we're all a little ADD dyslexic.
They used to call me Terry in school.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think about what it is, and then I'll go through the you know, we're another scam out to get you, and then the art school one.
That's one.
Yeah, the art school one particularly infuriates me because what do you guys learn? You learn the classics, and you learn about Sunday afternoon on the island of Gran Jate and the wonderful pointillism that created that work. I want to go to that island, by the way. I just thought of that because it was like my screensaver changes every day, and it was that painting. Whatever. No one ever teaches you how to make a damn living off of your creative talents. That class doesn't exist. Even now, in today's day and age, it doesn't exist. Like, where the hell was that class in college? Everyone would have taken it. Everyone should have taken it. Not only that, all the people, all the people that are traditionally teaching in those classes are not selling any damn art themselves. So anything that they're telling you is worthless, right? And unless you are backed up by thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of sales, like what are you even talking about? Nonsense. So that infuriates me. We exist because no one's teaching those classes. And while we're very, very good at many things, like vis-a-vis the scam thing, we're obviously not a scam. You can, the number one thing that I always talk about, no one ever does. You know how everyone goes on Amazon and people leave reviews on Amazon, and you can read the reviews on Amazon, and then you check them out, and you want to make sure there's some good ones, and then there's some couple bad ones, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to buy this.
Yeah.
On Facebook, you can do it just like Amazon, except you can send those people messages. How rad would it be on Amazon if we were like looking at the listing and looking at the product ratings, and then someone was like, this thing was awesome, and they speak to your issue, and you could just send them a message? You can do that. You can do that on Facebook. We have great reviews. Anyway, we're not selling magic beans here, right? Like, are we very good at what we do? Yes. Can we make you way more successful? Yes. But guess what? You have to learn how to be a competent marketer. And let me tell you, it sucks learning how to be a competent marketer. There is a lot of pain that goes into that, especially for most people. Now, you appear to be kicking butt and having a bunch of different things going on, so it's going to be easier for you, but you still have a marketing problem, right?
Absolutely.
You are not capturing enough emails. You're not emailing those emails often enough. You don't understand the basic tenets of omni-channel marketing, where your email message
Oh my God, I've tried like MailChimp and it's like a nightmare.
Of course it is. All of this stuff is for your artist brains. I totally get that. Like, being tech challenged is like one of our number one situations and issues. So we are essentially a two-part operation here. We are the website and everything that goes along with that, the ins, the outs, the integrations, the back end, and then the other part is we're really just a graduate university that teaches art business and art marketing. That's it. That's what we are, because it's the biggest problem that every single solitary one of you have. So will we make you significantly more successful? Yes, if you pour your energy into the program and you work it. The number one problem most artists have, one, they don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to marketing. Fine. Two, they treat their marketing like they do the New Year's resolution, right? This is going to be my year. I'm going to go ahead and pay for the expensive gym membership. I'm going to go 4 days a week in January. Mid-February comes and you're phoning it in, going once every 2 weeks, and then by March, the resolution is over. That's what every artist does. Yes. Rinse and repeat, year in, year out on their marketing. And so not only do we teach you how to market, perhaps what I'm most proud about is the combination of, let's just call the umbrella of support. The support umbrella, the nest of support, if you like. One, if you get stuck on things, you can get help, right? That's important. Two, it's emotional support, because your guy's job is a damn lonely one. It's not like you have a staff that are helping you out. You're creating the thing, and then you've got to go do all the business stuff that's selling the thing. You're the painter, the warehouse manager, right? The janitor, the salesperson, the market. I mean, it's hard, right? So we provide emotional support, and then most importantly, we also come at you with a combination of carrot and stick to keep you honest and to keep you moving consistently, right? Like, if you're not doing your marketing, we'll harass you. So all of that combined is just critically important in getting you to move forward and taking the positive steps in your career. But what is your Instagram handle? I want somebody to throw the link in the chat so I can see it. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
I have almost 23,000, but I have to say, like, since I do have to say, like, March last year I had 4,000. Pandemic hit. I poured my freaking ass into my work, and now I'm at 23.
Yeah.
So I know it works. Like,
yes.
As I said, marketing works. I don't know how to put it in the
No,
chat.
I already have it. Juan sent it to me.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Very cool. Oh, I should probably, I mean, if we're going to do, I know what I have to do. Hold on, wait a minute, and we'll look. So yeah, what I think you should do is get a demo. You don't even have to do anything. We'll have somebody contact you, because you need to, the demo is like essentially where you test drive the car, and you get to see all the bells and whistles and ins and outs and pricing and everything else. This is just to verify that Lara here does have the 22,000 followers.
Yeah.
And you are doing some videos.
It's hard though. Like, I have to say,
you better believe it's hard.
It's really hard too.
You better believe it's hard.
It's very hard, but yeah, it works very well.
Okay, good. You're doing some videos. That was the other thing you asked me about. You asked me about live art shows and how does a photographer do that?
How do you go through your photography work through that?
Let's get one of the later ones of Carol's, because she does a really good job.
Because, like, for example, I sit in front of someone, I show them my books, and I go through my life, my career, and everything, and they're in love like that. But doing it on a video.
Step one.
How do you do that?
Step one, you get your work photographed, or you get some prints ordered. Step two, you put that little phone on a little stand, you plug in your AirPods, which I know you already have, you go live on Instagram where you already have 22,000 followers, and you start selling like Carol does here. Very, very easy. Okay. You could do this all day long.
Do you have to get like a Shopify for that?
No, we provide the website.
You provide
that? Yeah, the whole thing. All right. We have actually like a special page that I designed from scratch. I don't know if this one is still active or not. At this one, you might send me a link, but it's one of the interesting. Oh, you already did. Thank you. It's one of the interesting things that. Okay, so here's another photographer. So what you'll notice here is there is no header. All there is a share and a shopping cart. There's a title. Oh, okay. There is the YouTube video of the show after it's done. And then below, you just have a grid of images, right? And so when somebody's watching the show, you send them the link to this page. And so we call them our live art show pages. And what's so rad is that this whole entire thing is just focused on buying. How rad of a nature photographer is this guy, by the way? This chimpanzee is taking a wee. This is a killer image too. You won awards for this one. Anyway, look, you come on here. They click buy now. The little cart slides out on the side. They can pay with Google Pay or Apple Pay, whatever they like, and they can check out. So that's how you do it. We have pages. You can set up one of these pages. I'm so proud of these things. You can set up one of these pages, I'm not kidding, in like 45 minutes. All you do is you take a bucket of images, you drop it into the folder. It makes the grid. You title and price things. You set the quantity depending on how many you want to sell, and then you go and run your live art show. And you're like, hey, during the live art show to your 23,000 Instagram followers, link in the bio, here's the page. And they can come right on here, purchase right away. And then after the fact, boom, the video gets embedded on the page and you send that to everyone else that's on your email list. How many people are on your email list?
Okay. Probably like 2,000 something.
Yeah,
How much?
We need to work on that. We need to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can help you.
So how do you guys make money off this?
So
by membership or by percentage of commission, like per sales?
So we have like a whole bunch of different plans with different bells, whistles, this and that when you do the demo, they'll walk you through all that, but I can just tell you broadly. So we are like every other website company out there in that there's a monthly fee. And then we are like a university. We charge you a one-time tuition to get into the university. And you know, what all do you get for that? Like an army of people on my marketing team that are going to teach you how to market for the rest of your natural born life.
Okay, cool.
There's Zoom call. There's just all kinds of jazzy stuff. And you get the added benefit, Lara, of knowing that, you know, we have in-house Venezuelans.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
going to take over the show.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Thank you. Good questions.
Nice.
Juan, I'll make sure someone contacts you. Who else, guys? Questions? I feel like I've been ranting on all. Oh, I see it, Maria. I see it. I see that hand raise. I gotcha.
Okay, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. Question. First of all my drawings are on my phone. And I let me tell you just a little bit. Most of my drawings are coming from my meditation visions or from my dreams. Okay. Then once I woke up or once I finish my meditation, I do my drawings. Okay. And those drawings, I want to keep it just the way that I made it. And I print it. If you see, you may see 3 of them behind my back. Yep. Then it is not pictured and it is not really like painted because I don't use like a physical paint, but it is still a drawing. And how should I manage that kind of pictures or drawings?
You're making it more complicated than it is. You get those things, you upload them. Our software would tell you how big you can print them, and you get prints just like you did behind you. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's it. I just send it and they download it and they print it. Depending what the customers want.
The system is really cool. Well, first you would upload the thing off your phone, and I imagine if it's on your phone, it's likely vector. I don't know if it's vector or raster. If it's vector, you can go as big as you want. If it's raster, maybe a little bit smaller. But you upload the image. Our software tells you immediately how big you can go based on the quality of the image, and then you pick what sizes you want to sell, and then you just work on start selling them. It's easy.
Okay, I never ever in my life sell any pictures, anything of my art. Mm-hmm. Then how should I know how much I should charge for?
Yeah, that's relatively easy too. Pricing is something that you can change at any point in time. But if you've never sold anything before, I think you need to work on that problem before you think about anything else. And the easiest way to do that is to buy a booth at like a local arts show or a fair or the like, and depending on where you live, they have them all over the country. And you get a booth, you get a bunch of prints made, you sit in the booth, and you attempt to sell your pieces to people not named mom, dad, brother, friend, or family, right? Because they'll buy anything no matter what because they love you. So that's like the first step in the process, right? You need to figure out that you have a product that the market wants. And then once you've done that, then you can have a marketing problem like all the rest of us.
Okay, but I thought this was one of the points to get help with.
It is to a certain extent. Like what's the easiest way to explain this? This is how I love to explain it. Okay, you and I are both cooks, and it's always been our lifelong dream to open a restaurant. Okay. Now, I go about it a different way than you do. The way that I go about it is the dumb way. You know what I do? I go and write a business plan, and I spend months on that. And then I take the business plan down to the bank, and then I get a loan, and then I lease a building, and then I build out the entire restaurant, and I rent the equipment, and I hire a maitre d', and I get tablecloths, and I design the menus, and then I open the restaurant. And then I come in, and you know what I find out? Nobody likes my food. And now I'm out of business, right? You know what you did?
Mhm.
You were way smarter than I was. You went to Costco and got a rolling cart, and you made your, let's just say, tacos, and you went and pushed it into an office building the next weekend, and you set up a sign, and it said Maria's Tacos, right? And
Mhm.
you had a bunch of people come in line, and a bunch of people were like, you know what? I liked your tacos, but they were just sort of okay. They weren't great. And you go, okay, wonderful. And then you take the cart home, and you're like, okay, they didn't love my tacos, but let's see if they like my burgers. And then the next weekend, you'd push the cart with the burgers in, and you had a line around the corner. And it's like, okay, you know they love your burgers, so now you have Maria's Burgers, and the line's out the door, and you have a restaurant, and you figured that out in 2 weeks, where in 2 weeks, I hadn't even written the first page of my business plan yet. So thinking that you're going to come online and start marketing, no. I want you to buy the cart at Costco and go roll it into an art show at fair. Get prints made. You don't need more than 10. Go and set up a booth somewhere and try and sell to strangers. If you do that and it works, then you know you've got a product that the market wants. They love your art, and then you can start, taking the next steps. But that's how I would go about doing it.
Okay, thank you.
And there's a link in the chat that I want you to read later.
Okay.
It's an art validation strategy. It's really, really important you do that first, Maria. It's critically important. It'll save you a ton of time, energy, and effort, and headache. If I see so many people that have never sold anything trying to just jump right into doing it all digitally, and it's like, no, you're making it way harder on yourself, because you need to know. You need to know that you've got a product that the market wants.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Maria. Okay, Frank, you're up next.
Sweet, Patrick. Nice to meet you. Finally, I've watched some of these videos before, so it's cool to meet you.
Awesome. I'm gonna
yeah,
go out on a limb and say you probably painted that wall.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mural that I painted. It took me like forever to paint.
Yeah, it looks cool.
My whole place is full of my paintings, right? But they need to be out there so people can see them.
Yes.
So I had just a couple high level questions. So like some of your customers, Meg and Matthew, you showed earlier. How long have they been customers with you guys for?
Both of them, I think, are probably knocking on the 5-year
Okay.
door, or 4 or 5 years, something like that. Matthew forever and ever, Meg forever and ever too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're like early adopters.
Yeah.
Of art storefronts. Cool. Okay. What would you say, I guess, in terms of like your average customer, what would you say? Because I know obviously there's going to be folks who are going to do the program, right? And then you're going to have folks who are just not going to put the time in. And obviously they're not going to be successful if they don't do that. So I know that's going to probably a wide scale. What would you say like your average customer nets in a year?
Yeah, it's a great question, but the premise underpinning the question is a false premise. And I'll explain how. The variations of this question are exactly how you asked it. What are the best-selling sizes? What are the best and most popular niches? What are the most important price points? And underpinning all of those questions is that there's some sort of magical formula to this business, right? That would apply equally, that you can use as a benchmark to judge. And I wish it were the case. I constantly look in the numbers to see if I can't figure things out, like, person A and person B. Perfect example, right? Person A, person B. Person A has 1.2 million followers on Instagram. Okay? Meg. Let's just use Meg as an example. Meg had just hit the 10,000 mark. Meg outsells the guy with 1.3 million Instagram followers by a magnitude of 20 to 1. How the hell do you explain that, right? And the point is that each one of these businesses has so many different variables in them, okay? Niche selection, your personality, how you go about your marketing, how much energy and effort you put into it, how good you are at storytelling, and a myriad of other things that completely changes the makeup of the calculation, right? So you can't compare yourself to other artists. It's just too nebulous, and there's too many weird things that come into the equation. So that's why it's a flawed question. Here's what I would say. almost everyone that consistently puts in the work and doesn't stop ends up becoming successful. And I would almost go as far to say it's more about the consistency that they put into their marketing than it is even on artistic talent on some levels. Because we have some people that are so good. I mean, the composition, the brush strokes, the detail, insane, and they get smoked by someone that I think doesn't even know how to frame a photo. And I'm continually left scratching my head, and have been for years, how it works. And it's just, I've come to accept that it's the nature of this business. It's just the nature of this business. And so the question you're asking is a good one in the sense that it's like a good benchmark to have, but it's a normal, rational thing our brains try to do to say like, hey, when am I going to get paid back? And when am I going to get an ROI? And how quick am I going to earn this thing back? And And it's just cancer. It's cancer of the mind. The only thing that you can focus on is you and your output. And if you do that and you do it consistently, you're giving yourself the greatest chance, right? You're giving yourself the greatest chance to succeed, full stop. It doesn't matter what your niche is, like, yeah, all the rest of it, yeah. But I get that question all the time, a million different ways, and I would have asked it a million times myself earlier in my career too.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys offer an opportunity to like chat with some of your customers that
all day,
art storefronts?
all day?
So you didn't
hear my Amazon comment rant? So what I would do is I would go to Facebook, okay, go to our reviews tab, and pick the face and the review that you like, and click send message. And what that'll do is that'll pop up Messenger, and then you'll be able to send a message directly to them and be like, hey, how long have you been at it? How's it going? All right? Are you still happy?
Awesome.
Do you feel like these guys are doing a good job? Yeah, I love that I can say that, by the way. And you should contact some of the detractors too. You know, we don't have a ton of detractors on Facebook. We're pretty good at what we do at this point. But you get some people that are detractors. And I would say, you know, not to toot my own horn, while I toot my own horn, we have one of the lowest cancellation rates. The term in the business is retention. We have one of the highest customer retention rates of revenue or recurring subscription software, period. We have very, very few people that cancel. The people that do cancel are almost to a person not willing to do the work. They're just not willing to do the work, or they don't do the work, or they're expecting fish to jump into their boat automatically, which just doesn't happen. So I would go see a demo.
Sure.
Have you already seen a demo?
I'm scheduled to see one tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah. See the demo, and then you can decide. Definitely feel free to contact any of those customers that are on Facebook. I think that'll give you a really, really good bead. But independent of that, you know, the whole thing comes down to the regular and consistent marketing and working the plan. And as cliche as it sounds, it is what determines success. And let me tell you, year one sucks.
Sure.
Year two usually for most people sucks. But guess what? You know, again, you have to have the perspective of how long you're going to be in this. You're still young. I mean, how old are you?
35.
35. What a great time to set the proper habits and start growing the email list and start treating your collectors like gold, right? And start working at it consistently. Because you got the rest of your life to do this. You obviously want to make it as this business. Is it a side hustle, or is it your full-time job already?
No, I mean, it's a side hustle. It's always been a side hustle. But and I would assume it's going to be that way for a while. But, you know.
As a final, I grew up with parrots. My dad loved parrots, and my dad had a Panamanian Amazon, okay? Beautiful bird, green bird, and this damn bird could mimic my mom's voice identically, and he would always, parrot! And I would come running down the stairs, and I'd be like, oh, damn it, he got me again. It was a very, very interesting part of my childhood. Anyway, loved parrots.
That's pretty funny.
Love that. Love them.
Cool. Well, you said to go to just the Art Storefront's Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then check on the reviews from there.
Yeah. And there's a reviews tab, and then send a bunch of those people the messages, and you know you'll get a total mixed bag. You'll get a total mixed bag. Some people are going to be, I mean, despite the fact they left really, really positive reviews, you'll get some people since then that are like, you know, oh yeah, it's in the chat, by the way, the link to the reviews. You're going to get some people in there that are you know, they're frustrated, but they know they're grinding, right? They're going to keep going. They're going to keep pushing as hard as they can. And you know, I go back to like the support argument I was having with Laura earlier. Like, you guys need support as much as you need to learn about the marketing. It's equal measure, right? Because the support is so important to keep you going when you're, I don't know why this is not loading, but we have a bunch of them in there. We have like 200. But anyway, I'm not showing it, am I? I was. So home, reviews, boom, scroll down. You look at one of them, you're like, oh, this is an interesting one. You click on their name, message, and you're right in there, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's that simple. So that's what I would do, and that'll give you a good perspective, and you can decide from there, of course.
Cool. All right. I have more questions, but I'm going to ask during the demo tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll get into all the pricing and the X, Y, and Z. I don't even know all that stuff like they have it memorized. So
awesome. Thanks, Patrick.
Killer. Thank you. Good to meet you, Frank.
Same here.
Okay. And Lara said she thinks she was in Maria Brito class with you. Does that make sense? Or I don't even know what you're saying here, Lara. Were you saying Maria was in Brito class with you? I don't know. All right. Dolly, you're up next. Dolly, go ahead. Are you there? Yep, gotcha. Oh, no, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you, which makes me think you probably have the wrong audio source picked. Dolly, so what you do is there's like this little up arrow to the right of your microphone, the thing that you just clicked. And normally if you click that, it gives you like all your audio sources and you can try to pick one that works. Most of the time that solves it. If not, what I would do is I would pop out and pop back in, yield restart. So sign out and just come right back in on the same link, and sometimes that could work, but otherwise I can't hear you. Oh, there she goes. Now your microphone disappeared. That could be a positive step. It looks like some audio came through. I feel like 90% of the time we iron out the tech issues. So I'm going to stick with you, Dolly. Keep hacking at it. In the meantime, Scott asked a question about if all your work is digital. It doesn't matter if your work's digital, Scott. You just got to get it printed. I'm unmuting you, by the way, Scott. So if you want to unmute. All you got to do is get it printed. Have you ever gotten it printed?
Yeah, I've gotten plenty of them printed, but they're all sold. So if I did a YouTube video or I was having a live show, I have nothing to actually show.
Did you sell them all under the premise of they were one-off originals and that's it? You don't have the ability to reproduce? Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, that is a very good problem to have. Number one, first world problems over here in Scott's world. You gotta make some more. Most people do not have that problem. You got to make some more, and when you make some more, like and even this, I would go back and contact all the buyers, because if they own the original, okay, it is in their best interest to allow you to sell prints of the original that they own, because all it does is increases the value of the original. It increases your name ID as an artist, and they want the piece to appreciate as much as they are enjoying it. So I would start immediately by going and contacting all those people and saying, hey, I'm looking to start selling prints. Would you be cool with that? It's, here are the reasons why it's a good idea, and ask. And my guess is if you sold 10 pieces and you asked us 10 people, 7 out of the 10 would say no problem. Okay, you still have that original digital file. Now you've got 7 pieces you can reproduce immediately and start selling.
See, I've actually done research on that and found out the opposite. When you sell a lot of prints of something, so everything I do is digital.
I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. Where did you do the research, and what article pointed you to that bullshit conclusion?
I mean, just what I've seen on different galleries and so forth. Most of the people that are making money.
So it's galleries that take a 50-50 split and don't tell you who your customers are the ones telling you not to sell prints. Why do you think?
No. This is like I'm on Saatchi as well.
Yeah.
So most of the people that have sold a tremendous amount of art there, they're selling a one-off.
Yeah.
It's just one, so that they can jack up the price on it.
Yes.
If they sell 100 of that one piece, then 99 other people have that piece. That's why I would think that like an original Picasso, the reason it's so expensive is because it's the original. I mean, you can buy a print at a museum or whatever, but it's never going to be as valuable as the original.
Of course not. You're making my point for me. You make an original, you call the original whatever the original is, right? And you set the size, the parameters, everything else. It's the original, it's hand signed. And then all the prints are smaller sizes if you want to differentiate it. So there's only one size. But this is one of these things that infuriates the shit out of me, because I've got data on 5,200 customers. And let me tell you what the ones that are making the most money are doing, that are the most successful are doing. They are selling originals, they're selling limited editions, and they're selling open editions. You're going into a fight with an arm tied behind your back. And there's so much BS information out there like this. Oh, no. You have to pick a niche. Oh, no. You can't have a sale. It cheapens your art. Only 2 brands I'm aware of that don't have sales, by the way, Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. They just merged. Now there's only one. There's so much nonsense out there, and the higher up you go into the artist factions, the worse it gets. And there are so few people that are making a ton of money in this business that are giving out advice for free. It's ridiculous. And so when I have 5,200 customers, when we look at their data on a monthly basis, I get a call BS on so many of these things. You should 1,000% be selling originals, limited editions, and open editions. When you sell the open editions, all it does is increase your brand ID, your name, and the person that holds the original, that increases the value of their piece, because there's all these other pieces out there that are not the original. So I don't know where this notion comes from, but it is utter, total, and complete nonsense.
Even if it's a digital piece?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Make the digital on your favorite media type a way bigger size and sell all the limited editions and open editions a smaller size in a different media type, and you control it like that. There's a million different ways to make the original special. Doesn't matter if it's digital or otherwise. What you hand sign it, you etch your name into it, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The original will always be the original.
An image is an image.
Yes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're selling images, not necessarily a painting or a sketch or whatever.
Exactly.
I look at it like I'm creating images.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you know the other lesson too, and this is such an important lesson. And again, this is another one of those things that they never taught you in art school, and it infuriates me. Everyone's followers, okay, and it doesn't matter if you're just on Saatchi, okay. And let's say you have followers on Saatchi. Saatchi's a little bit different because it's a higher end gallery, but everyone's followers fall into what I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? And it's your normal bell curve. You have the low end of the socioeconomic spectrum. These people don't have a ton of money. They can't afford to buy a whole bunch. What they like, they share, they comment, they do a bunch of awesome stuff. You have lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, okay? If you want to make it in this business and you understand that this business is the rest of your life, you start taking that socioeconomic bell curve very, very seriously, okay? And what you're saying to me with this strategy, which is why it's a bullshit strategy, is I'm only going to have price points for these people that are on the high end of the bell curve, okay? And what is so naive and destructive about that is, do you understand? And it's why we have a merch partner and we integrate with merch, right? Because not everybody on the socioeconomic bell curve is ready to buy art from you right now, okay? And the ones that are ready, they can't all afford that high end. And so what you're doing by not having these other price points, by having this variation in price points, is you're not giving yourself the ability to turn a follower into a customer. And guess what? The socioeconomic bell curve is not for life, okay? People go up and down it all throughout their lives. And what no one understands is, when you sell a calendar, okay? And I'm going to grab one so I can do show and tell. You sell a calendar. It's $50, right? Do you know what this is? This is essentially a Facebook ad that you just stapled on the wall of someone that's on the low socioeconomic status. And they might buy one of these from you for 6 years. And then guess what? They moved out of their mom's basement and they have their first house and they're ready for an original, right? You didn't get the sale on that original if you weren't selling them a calendar a year, because you're no longer top of mind. Do you know how hard it is to advertise and get attention and get people to open emails and get them to look at your social posts? Do you know how much easier it is if this is on their kitchen wall 365 days a year? You didn't get that sale because you don't have a price point like that. You don't have one even close. And so too, with limited small open editions, right? I can come to your store and I can get a print for $50. Guess what? That's all I can afford right now. But 10 years from now, because you're in this for life and you're going to be marketing consistently, if you would have had something, a little beachhead, a small little print that I have in my bathroom for the next 10 years, then when I finally do get the big bucks and the big house, I'm going to come to you for an original because you're top of mind, right? And so having the variation in price points in your offering is so insanely important. And when people say, I only sell this or I only sell that, I'm like, yeah, that's a path to poverty. That is not how anyone that understands a business would go about it. You have to have these various different items and you have to have these various different price points. And oh, by the way, it's as true on the bottom end as it is on the top end. Like, I recommend to my customers, they put something in their store that's $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000. Why? Because for the people that can afford something like that, something at $10,000 doesn't blow their hair back. It doesn't get their heart beating. It doesn't speak to their prestige. So the bell curve, it's just as important on the high end as it is on the low end. But when you don't have that, just contemplate everything that you're missing out on, and then contemplate not having those people to market to in perpetuity for the rest of your art selling life, right?
Well, I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is you're making your population exponentially smaller by not doing this.
Exactly. And you're missing out on valuable marketing opportunities. Like, you know, again, if I come to your site today and it's like, I'm remodeling my bathroom, right? And I saw an Instagram post for you and I'm like, dude, Scott, I really dig your stuff. My wife and I are super into it. You're like, sweet. My prices start at $10,000. I'll be like, Scott, it's a bathroom wall, bro. I need some small pieces to put in there. Do you have something for me, right? You need to have something for me. And again, like if I put your small pieces in my bathroom and then I have a big party and then everyone comes over and one person at that party is like, dude, that bathroom art is sick. Who is that guy? Oh, it's my friend Scott. What happens then, right? That is like, it is a front of marketing that so many people ignore, and it is the most important one because a Facebook or an Instagram ad is not going to get you into my bathroom. Well, it might, but you know what I mean.
So let me ask you a question, because I mean, this is probably like my 6th or 7th time that I've come here because I love learning more and more about this.
I remember talking to you before.
And I do believe in this platform mainly because of the whole marketing aspect of it. Like,
yes.
I've been on Saatchi now for 2 years. They don't market.
I know.
Any marketing they do is, hey, come to Saatchi. There's 50,000 pieces of artwork here. Dive into the ocean and hopefully you'll find what you want. That's the thing that really intrigues me about this platform is the whole marketing aspect, because you're right. Like it's all about getting your name out there, getting your face out there, showing your work, getting it marketed to the right people, and then, you know, getting the hooks that'll grow over time. Just a side question. So would you recommend, and this has nothing to do with art storefronts, but on Saatchi, should I open every single piece offering or piece that I have? Should I open it up for prints?
Yes, I think you should.
Okay. Because I stopped doing that like a year and 9 months ago, and I only everything.
Saatchi's not enough. Saatchi's never going to be anything aside from an occasional paycheck. There's just too many people on there. There's too much noise. It's too hard to stand out. It's no different than any of the rest of the marketplaces. They're all the same. I mean, and I'm not saying it to knock any of them individually. I think some of them are awesome for various different reasons. It's just when you talk to as many artists and photographers as I have, week in, week out, every single solitary week for as many years as I have, the sheer number of people that I hear that are earning something, even approaching a living on any of the marketplaces, is maybe 1 out of 1,000. Maybe it's 1 out of 5,000. So, you know.
Plus, what do you consider a living?
100%. And then also too, you know, I can make a bunch of claims about this because I've been doing this for long enough now, and the data, it's like, you know, I tried and call BS on me. I dare you, right? Like I've been doing this for a long time now. The collector list, the size of your collector list, okay, is the single solitary biggest determining factor of the revenue potential of that business as anything else is. And you don't know who the hell's buying what from you on Saatchi. Occasionally they send you the address to ship the thing to, but it's not the first name. It's not the email address.
They won't tell you the name at all.
Yeah. So you got nothing. You got nothing, Scott. You got nothing. You're not building a collector list. And let me tell you, not building a collector list is not saving for retirement. It is that bad of a move.
So every piece that gets sold on art storefronts, we get the person's name.
Yes, 100%. How have you not gotten a demo in all the times you've been on this?
No, I have. I couldn't remember whether that was.
Neil, yes, that is our whole point. The whole position. The artist owns everything. It is your email list. It is your customer. It is your transaction. You have the ability to market to that person in perpetuity. That is the only way that you're actually going to build a business that's going to continue to grow year after year. You have to be able to continue to market to your customers. I don't know what it is about this particular business, this particular, I guess it's just creatives in general, right? But, you know, a musician creates a fan and then continues to market to the fan. And the fan has an LTV to the musician, a lifetime value, meaning every time that musician comes to town, that fan is going to continue to show up, right? Because he loves the music. That same phenomenon, or for lack of a better term, happens with art, right? For whatever reason, we have so many customers that are on their 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 15th, 20th piece that they've sold to one individual, right? It's the fandom that goes along with being an artist. And when you don't know who the hell it is that's buying your work, you have zero ability to be able to know who that person is, to be able to treat that person like they're staying at the Four Seasons and continue to market to them in perpetuity. And I don't know how you build a successful business where you can't have the rug ripped out from underneath you in 2 seconds if you're not doing that. You have to do that. It's like the number one determining revenue factor. So you every sale that you get on Saatchi, you're a tenant farmer, Scott. You might get a meal occasionally. You might get a roof over your head. But when you leave, you're leaving with the shirt on your back and nothing else. That's unsustainable.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree only because it's such a gigantic platform.
Yes.
And it's like you're a single drop in the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly right. They all are.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your info, and I'm probably going to jump onto this platform very soon.
Good man. But I appreciate you doing your due diligence. I know you've come to a bunch of these. Okay, Lisa, you're up next.
You hearing me now?
I getcha.
Do you hear me now?
I getcha.
Do you hear me?
I do.
Yeah, I had to come in through another name.
Oh, all good. You made it work.
Okay.
It's all that matters.
So I'm a New Yorker. I'm an artist, and probably due to both of those facts versus just the one, I am a skeptic. I have a lifetime career. I've done all the crap you're supposed to do. I've had the big fancy shows at the painting galleries in Manhattan with the floors that float above, or the walls that float above the floors. I've had resale at some of the larger auction houses. I have a career. Then I had a lot of babies. Now I'm 54, and I found you guys, but I have to say I've even gone to the websites of some of the artists that have given testimonials about you guys, and there is no way in the world that I am going to have someone go to my website and saying, buy 3 for $7.99. To me, that just is an opposition of what I try to do in my studio. There's something very vulgar about that, and I don't mean to look down. I'm not looking down at anybody doing that. You can do whatever you want, right? It's America. But there's no way I'm selling teacups. There's no way I'm selling T-shirts. It's like, to me, I just find that really contrary to what the act of painting and making art is. So that's my trepidation.
Yep.
I have a few questions. One is, where are you guys with NFTs? What happens when you've already sold the original and you want to do some prints? It's fine, but you don't own the original anymore. And then my big question, Patrick, I have a big question, and this goes out to you, because I've been listening to you, for a few days now. I'm really new to this, but you keep talking that you've done this for so long. You look like a pretty young guy, even though you're hiding behind your hat and glasses. That's what I do too. If you saw me, my children are with me, so I'm not going to video.
Yeah.
But you've done this. You seem very well versed. Are you like the child of a starving artist?
No, I wouldn't.
Why are you doing this? How are you doing this? How did you come to this?
I've been in the art industry for I don't even know now, 15, 16, 17, 18 years, something like that.
The art industry is big.
Yes. Yes, it is.
There's very
the biggest advantage, how I would answer that is I've owned businesses and have been a hardcore digital marketer my entire life, right? So I understand the marketing piece very well. I've been in the art side of it with art storefronts for 7 years now or so. And the biggest change in that whole time is having access to the data, right? And having access to the data 2 ways. One, we have a diverse customer base, and I get to see all the stuff that you get to see. How many followers do they have on Instagram, and how many do they have on Facebook? And then I get to see behind the scenes, not only who is selling the most, right? Who's selling the most expensive originals? Who's selling the highest volume of originals? What media types are they on? What sizes are they on? But then also, I get access to all the analytical data. So how are they going about making those sales? Is it because they're running a sale? Is it because they're running a live art show? Is it from an email? Is it a collector? And da-da-da-da-da. And so you do that for long enough, and I feel like that puts me in a much different position to everyone else, because all the rest of the conventional wisdom I see out there, I'm like, earlier in my career, I would have been like, Kai, that sounds so smart, right? That makes a ton of sense. That conventional wisdom really does resonate with me. Now that I've been through like all the data and all the years, I'm like, that is the biggest bunch of bullshit I have ever seen in my entire life, in addition to everything else that I've read in the industry and everything else. Going back a couple more steps, though, and by the way, I was born in New York, so I can talk to you New Yorker status. I lived there for a whole grand 2 months. So, despite the fact I've been back a whole bunch of times since, lived there for an entire 2 months until I came to California. Anyway, explain to me, Lisa, that the last museum that you went to that didn't have a gift shop.
Yeah, no, I have never been to a
museum. No, you haven't.
No,
you haven't. You want to know why? Because a museum is a business that's attempting to make money, despite the endowments and everything else. And so you thinking, or tell me the last concert you went to where they didn't have merch for sale, right? So it doesn't cheapen you. It doesn't lower the opinion of you. All it does is give you a bunch of kitschy items that you can sell to people that love you and want to support you, okay, but can't afford an original right now. And going back to the rant I made earlier, like, all of that merch is a Facebook ad that you're stapling to their wall, or you're putting in their hand, or you're putting in their daily life. And there's a reason that absolutely everyone does it, because it also increases your AOV. Your AOV is your average order value. And so when you have a career like you did, a lot of times you get caught up in the nonsense of the hoity-toity art world, right?
Oh no, it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous, and there are so few people in there making
so much
money.
Bro in my life.
There are so few people in there making money. Like, one of my favorite books that I cite all the time, and I totally recommend everyone buys this and reads this. Is it called The $12 Million? I think it's called The $12 Million. I'm pulling up Amazon so I can show it. It's called The
$12 Million Shark.
Yeah, it's the $12 million stuffed shark. Awesome. So you know what I'm talking about. The stats in there are so telling, right? And it's not the only one, but they're the stat in there that I love: 40,000 artists in residence in London, 40,000 artists in residence in New York. Out of the 80,000, there is 0.03%, which are called the superstar artists, making over $1 million a year, right? What they don't tell you is that 0.03%, okay, not even 0.1% of these 80,000 are making over $1 million a year with a 50-50 split. With a 50-50 split, okay? So they're only making $500,000 a year. Then it goes down to the second segment of the 80,000, and then the third. The third are mature, successful artists that have a side hustle or have a partner that's supporting them. The middle segment is the ones that are making over $100,000 a year up to $999,000 a year. Out of the 80,000, that book cites the stat that 6.38% are making anything resembling a living, right? And I look at that and it's like the sheer amount of bullshit involved in this entire industry and how few are actually making money. And then knowing the ones that are making money are doing so on a 50-50 split infuriates me. That's no way to make money. I find the gallery artist relationship to be one of the most exploitative things that could possibly exist. It straight up is.
I mean, when I found you guys, I was thinking, for years and years, I know Damien Hirst tried to do this by taking matters into his own hands and selling, directly. And I was like, really, I was psyched to see that, because something's got to give, man. Something has to give. And
Damn right.
And then it's like dealers, and I've worked over the years with some pretty interesting dealers. I'm not gonna, interesting in the sense that they've been known to move things, and they have, and they've placed work, and but it's just at a certain point you're like, oh my God, how much more do I need to bend over for you people?
Exactly.
And then you do something wrong, and they're like, okay, you're blacklisted because you went and talked to this other person.
Yeah,
and
nonsense.
You're just like, what is going on with this? But at the same time, because I'm old school, I just don't know where I should take this, because
you are not old school. You're in your 50s. You have 40 years more of this business.
In the sense that,
yes.
I started this back in the day when, it's like you went knocking on the door to different galleries and you show them your slides,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
And then you get home and your slides will have beat you home via the post because they were like, get out of my face. But, it's years of eating crow face to face with Jeffrey Deitch and all those people, I mean, it was
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
What,
Yes.
what I
Also,
subjected myself.
Lisa,
Well, we all did.
also, because I have to push back on this.
Yeah.
And hold on, I have to yell at my wife. Vanessa, have him do the black Prius.
I lost him.
No, you didn't lose me. I had to yell at my wife. Sorry. You won't do sales. You'll do sales. Trust me. You'll do sales. Literally, the only brand that doesn't discount that I'm aware of is Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. Somebody told me Hermes too, but I couldn't afford an Hermes anything. I don't even know what Hermes is. Sounds like some sort of Greek house.
What?
No, I'm saying your contemplation that you won't do the sales, like you went to some of the websites and you saw the sales and you're like, oh, that's super cheesy. I could never do that.
Oh, like the banner ads that come across me going, there's 3 for $50.
Yeah. I mean, it at the end of the day, the whole thing just comes down to
buy one, get one too.
Yeah.
Logo ad.
It's just human psychology. You just have to do it the way that you want to do it. But don't think you're not going to do sales. Everyone does sales because it's just human psychology, right? In order to get human beings to take action, you need a discount and you need scarcity. Otherwise, we're not motivated to move. And also, when I say I've been doing this a long time, some of my customers have done the full-blown dog and pony and, gallery, VIP, bartender, performance art. Do you have any idea the sheer amount of negotiation that goes on when the pieces start getting more expensive than $50,000? Do you think the people that buy the pieces that cost more than $50,000 acquired their net worth by paying retail for anything? Absolutely not. The higher up the scale you go, the more discounting, the more endemic the discounting is. You have people that are asking $75,000 and they sell it for $50K, and I see that all the time. All the time.
Oh, and they hit you up for 50% of the discount price.
Yes.
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 So, anyhow, this is very interesting. I'm going to continue to hang out and be a fly in the wall with you guys.
Wonderful.
And toss it around conceptually, and maybe I'll jump in. But thanks for your time, Patrick. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, my pleasure, Lisa. I enjoyed it. Keep an eye on those kiddos. Good session today. What else? I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, there was a question in the chat. Generally, what would you say constitutes a good number of contacts that you need to have a book of business or run a healthy art business? Yeah, it depends. Like, what are your aspirations for a business, right? And not all email lists are created equal. I would say, generally speaking, you constantly want to grow the email list without question, and you want to get it up to 100,000. So set that as a goal and don't stop until you get there. I know that takes forever, but you can do plenty of damage. There's people that are in 6 figures with 2,000 people on their email list. So that's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, again, there's no magic number. Stop thinking like that, Frank. There's no magic number. There's no magic formula. There's just not. There's just doing the marketing consistently and never stopping. All right, I'm running out of horsepower. I'm talking myself in circles. What else? Any other questions, guys? Comments? Concerns? What I would say is if you haven't, if the session has piqued your interest, okay, and you're like, these guys might know what they're talking about, this is sort of interesting, request, go get a demo, schedule one. It's an hour Zoom call with somebody from the outreach team. They walk you through all the ins and outs and the pricing, and you get to see all the features and all the stuff that I didn't talk about, all the bells and whistles and everything else. And if you like what you see, great, you can sign up. If not, be like, guys, don't call me, and they'll never call you again. It's not that type of an operation. The only thing that we do that is completely out of line is the volume of email we send. And let me tell you, we send a lot. Any of you guys received an email from me recently? How about 6 a day? We are terrible. I need to go to rehab for this, you guys. It is a problem. But step 1 is admitting you have a problem. Perry just came all the way from his canvas, and he's like, dude, you send too much email. Stop it. Stop sending the email. I'm working on it, you guys. I'm working on it. I'm in a 12-step program, okay? One of these days, I might get down to like 2 emails a day. But we'll see. we'll see about that. Yes, there is certainly a balance, and we certainly abuse that balance. That is for doggone sure. What else? Yes, very cool. Joe's agreeing with me on the Joe from YouTube. What happened there? Is agreeing with me in terms of the exploitative nature of the gallery relationship. 100%. Is it Lech? Yeah, Lech. I work I work and film with long hours, but I'm dying to sell my art with very limited time. Is there a way I can do this? I should focus on most of the quick call daily marketing. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. 80% of our customer base has a full-time job. That's just how it works, right? Like everyone is trying to make it in this business, but they also understand, that you have a full-time job. We have a ton of different ways that you can succeed. And if you don't get started, you're never going to get started. Like you have to start doing the work, and you have to start hustling a little bit. All right, Michael, I'm going to do your question last of the day. I'm unmuting you, but Michael says, what exactly do you guys do specifically to market us? I can answer that question very succinctly. Absolutely nothing. We do nothing to market you. We teach you how to market yourself. So we don't feed you a fish. We teach you to fish, right? There's a huge difference between that. There's a huge difference between that. So we teach you how to market across the board, everything from, basics of email marketing, basics of social marketing, how to run live art shows, how to capture emails both online and offline, and everything in between. So that's what we do. We teach you to market, and that's the only way that you're actually going to make it as an artist, because anyone that tells you they are going to do the work for you is lying. Try any of the online galleries, right? Like Saatchi, right? Like was it Steve? I can't remember. I'm terrible with names. Like Steve's on, like, oh, we're going to do marketing for you, and then what do? They do nothing. They do absolutely zero. Because no one's in the business of giving away marketing for free. Jeffrey, we got your email. We'll reach out. Don't worry. Yeah, Frank, we have we call the Zoom sessions office hours. There's 2 a week, sometimes 4 or 5 a week. And you pop in just like you pop in on this one. No different. Throw questions in the chat. Get questions asked in the chat. Throw your hand up. Get unmuted. I run a bunch of those sessions. A whole bunch of other people on the marketing team. Juan on here runs those sessions. April does too. So a bunch of us do. Yeah. All right. I've talked myself into circles. Leaving it there. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Appreciate you for hanging in there. Maria, get some prints. Get to a local fair show. Okay. Got to sell the work. Do people not name mom, dad, brother, father? No madre, no padre, no tío, no tía either. Okay. Just because it's in Spanish. I know most Latinos have huge families. So no, not the families. Although, as thick as you guys are familial, you could do one of the birthdays, which I know you have every other weekend, okay? Do one of the birthdays where 50 of the extended family come. You could try to sell at one of those. Those do work, and that would be a free way to do it without having to do it. Juan's laughing at me. I tell the story, but I went to school in San Diego, okay? And I hired a graphic designer for the company that I had at this point in time, and it was a clothing company. And he's a Mexican guy that lives in South County, San Diego, and half his family's from TJ, and he lived in San Diego, and he would have a birthday party every single, or some sort of family related thing, every single solitary weekend. And I would go to them, a couple of them with them. And sometimes there'd be 50, 60 people in a park. And I'd be like, dude, this is gnarly. You have one of these every single solitary weekend. So Maria, if you are one of those blessed people that have a family like that, you can definitely set up shop at one of those. And that totally works. So that's what I would say. But all right, I'm definitely out of gas now. Guys, I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your weeks all, and hope to see you on the inside. Yes, Michael Fritz says Chula Vista style. That's where he's from, is Chula Vista, actually. But I think he lives in I think he lives, to be honest with you, he lives in downtown now. I got to ask him. But thank you guys. Great session today. Appreciate you. Hope to see you inside soon. I'll talk to you.